It's time to connect to Congress, a segment where we talk directly to Washington lawmakers who represent us here in the central San Joaquin Valley. And this morning we are talking live with Democratic Representative for California's 21st Congressional District, Jim Costa, live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congressman Costa. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Senator. Say it's always great to be on a great day. Happy holiday season.
Same to you.
One and all.
We're talking a couple of days left before the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire. How urgent would you say this situation is, and what are you doing to make sure that families here in the Central Valley don't lose this critical support? As you've told us, tens of thousands of families rely on this.
Well, it's urgent, and I've been saying that time and time again for the last 2-3 months as we've tried to get our Republican colleagues to sit down and reach a compromise on the extension of the Affordable Care Act. Over 22,000 families in my constituency are seeing notices that their rates will increase after the first of the year. And that's across the country. And I might add, it's 22 million American families in total. And there are 3 different proposals that we are trying to work on. In the Senate tomorrow, they're going to bring up a measure that Senator Thune has promised to get Democratic and Republicans to debate the issue. On the House side, we have 2 different proposals, of which I am a co-sponsor, that would provide reforms by placing caps, but also extending the tax credit for 2 years. These are all proposals that we could work out a compromise, I think, that would provide insurance for over 22 million American families and those people in our valley who rely for the Affordable Care Act for their primary source of insurance. This is about America's safety net for health care. And when you couple that with the cuts that have been made earlier, $1.2 trillion on Medicaid and Medi-Cal that affect so many of our people in the Valley and throughout the country, our hospitals, Community Medical Center, Valley Children's, St. Agnes, Cahuilla, Adventist Healthcare System, all of these are looking at very difficult decisions that will cut back on health care, affordable health care for the people of our country.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where people just think it affects families, but it trickles, like you said, down to the hospitals as well. Are you getting a lot of calls from your constituents about this issue? And if so, what are they telling you?
Yes, they're very concerned, and they're wondering why Congress can't act on a bipartisan basis. And we have 3 proposals, as I mentioned, and we have until next week to reach a compromise. We're getting mixed signals from the White House, which doesn't help, because clearly if the president were to embrace an effort to extend the ACA, we call it the Affordable Care Act, for 2 years with some caps, some reforms, I think we could get past this Donnybrook that we're looking at, impacting so many American families across the country if we do nothing. And I pray that we will reach a compromise here in the next week. That's what I'm working on.
Congressman Costa, on Monday, the White House announced a $12 billion aid package for American farmers affected by the trade war. Some growers in California are set to receive very little of the $12 billion. Will any farmers here in the central San Joaquin Valley see any of those funds?
Well, not much at this point in time, and I'm trying to convince the administration not to make the same sort of mistakes that they did in Trump 1 when he embraced a tariff war that resulted in our markets disappearing for California farmers, ranchers, dairymen, and women. 45% of California's agriculture is exported. And today we find ourselves in a situation where some of the markets that we lost back in the first Trump administration, we've still not regained. And to provide $11 billion for program crops, corn, soybean, wheat, in the Midwest, while we've bailed out Argentina by a tune of $40 billion, but $40 billion for Argentina, $12 billion for American agriculture, of which 11 will go to program crops and only $1 billion for the specialty crops we grow in California. That doesn't fit with my priorities, and I've been urging on a bipartisan basis my colleagues to tell the administration that, in fact, we've got to make sure that, and it was predictable, I've been talking about this all year long, that the impacts would not only be a tax on American consumers as a result of these tariffs, but it increased prices in the grocery store and the input costs, and I'm a farmer myself, that the ultimate price that farmers in California are getting for their commodities that they grow does not cover the cost of all the expenditures they've made during the entire year in raising their crops that are now that they're hoping to sell at marketplace. And so this is an issue that we've got to do a better job at for sure.
Again, farmers here in the central San Joaquin Valley who not only feed this area or the country, but the entire world. Congressman Jim Costa, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on Great Day. We appreciate your time as always. Great Day will be right back.